Tool City Council meeting. We have a nice crowd tonight. We've got a lot of important topics to talk about. I know everybody's interested in the budget and their tax rate, so I'm glad everybody's here to talk taxes. So you're always welcome. The first thing I want to do is just, as I've called the meeting to order, it's 6:01, Kimberly. I'm going to call a roll call if I could, please, and I'll start with Michael, please.
Floodmark present.
Sayer present.
Bennett present.
Figueroa present.
Stikes present.
We've established a quorum, and let's do the pledge and the invocation, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Is Chief here from the fire department? Is he going to speak? Are you going to speak, Randall, in this place? Welcome, sir. We're always glad to hear from the fire department what's going on.
How y'all doing? I'm Lieutenant Newkirk. My chief couldn't make it tonight. He's not feeling pretty good. He ain't felt good all week. But anyway, I don't have a call log. I just got off work. I'm sorry about that, but I can tell you we've ran quite a bit of medical calls this week, this month. We had one grass fire. We had one structure fire that we attended. They saved the house. They put it out. The other, what's going on now with the fire department, the members and the chief, we now are establishing a good relationship with our ESD, and I think that's a great thing because it's been a roller coaster for a minute. But we appreciate our ESD and everything that they're doing, and I just hope that our citizens can back the ESD as well. I put on Facebook, we are needing at least 14 to 16 members to join, and I'm hoping we can fill that seats to so that we can go ahead and get our goals that we now have put in place to accomplish those. That's it for the fire department, really. We don't got anything else than that besides working on game plan. But I will say, I don't know what's all going on as a fire department, as a leader in the fire department. Before the city council meeting gets bad, I've heard some rumors. I just want everyone to remember where you come from, and let's not make it look bad for the citizens. I mean, that's why we're here. That's why I serve. It's for the citizens. So that's why I look at it for the fire department. Anything goes bad, I do my best to, look at it in a positive standpoint, no matter what the situation may be. So there we go. If y'all got any questions for the fire department, I'm right here. Let me know. I can't stay long. I got some stuff I gotta go get to, but that's it. That's all I got.
Thank you, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
The next item we have on the agenda 5 is that we, as you all may have remembered, we put in and we got authorized for a Purple Heart City. And Ben, you're here. Ben Pate's here. He's the president of Caring of America of Henderson County, and he's going to speak. And there's some other folks here to talk about what this is all about. It's a very phenomenal thing, and it's a great thing for the city. And he reminded me we're the last one, so he saved the best for last. Thank you. So Ben, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council of Tool, Texas, all the invited guests, and the citizens of Tool. My name is Ben Pate, as he's already told you, so I won't repeat that. I searched and found a little bit about Tool, Texas, and this is what Google told us about your city. It's a city that has small town charm, friendly atmosphere, peaceful environment, and a strong sense of community. I will pray that happens tonight, that all those things I just said about Tool. And I don't know much about Tool. I will tell you I did make my way over here about a month ago and ate at a fine restaurant that was extremely I rated it excellent. I'll put it that way. So I'm very happy to be here tonight. Caring for America is honored to be in your city this evening with this special presentation. We're especially grateful this evening to have in attendance, which he hasn't made it yet, the Honorable Judge Wade McKinney, and we're hoping he'll still be here. Other special guests. When I mention your name, I'd like for you to stand. Ronnie Payne, United States Army, served in Germany. Greg Carver, United States Navy. Westpac, he played with and worked on drones before we knew what a drone was, but they were a lot larger than the ones that they fly today. Dennis Vickery, United States Army, Fort Knox, and he wasn't there guarding our gold. He was on a medical detachment. Caring for America Vice President Jennifer Browning. Anyone with the Caring for America board, whose members, if you would stand. I know we have one member of the board, our scholarship committee chair. And I would like to take this time to have our Purple Heart recipients please stand. Bill Malone, Elvis Allen, Eric Walter is in the back. I have here in my hand, I gave the mayor a copy of the stories that these veterans wrote on behalf of the Veterans Affairs, Catherine Albert Captain, United States Air Force. She asked me to write about Caring for America and basically about the recipients of the Purple Heart. I gave a copy to the mayor because I would like for all of the council and the mayor to read these when you get an opportunity. These stories are quite amazing. These individuals didn't just go to war. They spent quite a time participating in the war. And these individuals have their words, the history, a snapshot of what it was like to be them in Vietnam, in Iraq, during their fight against our enemies. Without these men and others like them, there would not be a Purple Heart proclamation. Their accounts were submitted to the Veterans Affairs Officer, Captain G. Albert, United States Air Force. Toole is especially noted this evening of being the final in Henderson County to be proclaiming your city a Purple Heart city. And I don't want you to feel like we've neglected Toole, because being last can be a rewarding good thing, because current events and the Purple Heart recipients and their letters of account led them and several individuals in this room to be invited and honored by attending the Purple Heart Day presentation delivered by President Donald Trump in the East Room of the White House. We were also honored by receiving some letters from the President's commissioned special assistant by the United States Marine John Allen, who made our trip possible. What this means for Toole is Caring for America of Henderson County will now be able to present, and we did, to this city the letter President Donald Trump signed proclaiming August 7th National Purple Heart Day. And your mayor has that copy. It will be almost a year ago I visited Judge McKinney with an ideal. The ideal based on the fact that my uncle, W.D. Pate, received a Purple Heart during World War II. In addition to this, seeing other states, Arkansas in particular, having Purple Heart signs throughout the state. So the idea of turning Henderson County purple with designations to honor our veterans who have given their blood for this country. The 1.9 million in the United States that were killed or wounded in battle against our enemies. Texas has the honor of having the most of any state with 45,000 Purple Heart recipients in Texas. Judge McKinney joined in with Caring for America and our vision, Henderson County being a Purple Heart county. Since then, over 27 cities and entities have added to Henderson County Purple Heart rows. We had 5 of the Trinity Valley Community College take on the Purple Heart. And at this time, I would like for Major Bill Malone to step forward. Present Major Bill Malone with the letter that President Trump signed. August 7th, Purple Heart Day. He served 40 years in the United States Army. He is now still serving. He's our commander in Athens of the VFW Post. At this time, I would like for Jennifer Browning, the Vice President of Caring for America, to come and speak. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all again for having us. And Commander Malone is featured in a White House video. If you go to their Facebook page and their website, he was interviewed when we got to visit the White House a few weeks ago. So check that out. But really, I just want to tell you a short thing about what Caring for America is, why this is important to us. We are a nonprofit organization here in Henderson County that is we have a heart for our veterans and our first responders, and we want to be there to make sure that they know that they are honored, that they are respected, and that we appreciate all that they have done for us. And so that started with a Veterans Day dinner. We still host that every year at the Texan right now for veterans and their spouses to come complimentary, as well as receive thousands of dollars in different prizes and things. We have a first responder scholarship that goes to our local high school students who are going into field of first responding, or some of our first responders already who are working and just need additional training. We work on paying for that. And then, of course, things like making sure that our communities know how much we honor our veterans, and all of those traveling through by seeing these Purple Heart signs. And for y'all to take this opportunity to continue that, we just greatly appreciate it and appreciate y'all having us this evening. I'd like Eric, please, to come speak now. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Eric Walter, and I am the Junior Vice Commander for the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Chapter 1513, DFW Mid-Cities. I am also the Commander of the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 7523 in Mineola, Texas. When I served in the United States Army, I was part of the 1st Infantry Division, known as the Big Red One. During my 2 tours in Iraq, I had the honor of serving alongside some of the bravest men and women in uniform. Like many of my brothers and sisters in arms, I was wounded in combat, a reminder of the sacrifices made by so many in service to our great nation. Tonight, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the mayor, the city council members, the citizens of Toul, and most importantly, all veterans who have served this country with honor and courage. What does it mean when a city is recognized as a Purple Heart City? When the city of Toul receives this designation, it signifies more than just a title. It is a promise. A promise to remember and honor all Purple Heart recipients, both living and deceased. A promise to recognize and appreciate all veterans who call this community home. A moment to reflect on our nation's history and the contributions of leaders like George Washington, who established the Purple Heart as a symbol of sacrifice. And perhaps most importantly, an opportunity to educate the next generation about the cost of freedom and remind us to all thank our veterans for their service. Before I leave you, I want to share something meaningful. Our DFW Mid-Cities Chapter 1513 is named after a powerful Bible verse, John 15:13, and I believe this verse speaks to the very heart of military service and sacrifice. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. For those who have been in combat, for those who have lost friends, and for those who continue to serve, it is a reminder that sacrifice is the ultimate act of love and duty. Once again, I want to personally thank you and the entire city of Toul for your dedication to our veterans and their families. May God bless our veterans, this great city, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Now, I'd like to read the proclamation, if I could. Proclamation of the Purple Heart City. Whereas the city of Toul, Texas, has great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served their country and this community in the armed forces. And whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration in President and was initially created by the Badge of Military Merit by George Washington back in 1782. And whereas the Purple Heart was the first American Service Award or decoration made available to the common soldier and specifically awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who have been wounded or paid the ultimate sacrifice in combat with a declared enemy of the United States of America. Whereas the contribution and sacrifice of these men and women from the city of Toul, Texas, who served the armed services, have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and the way of life that we enjoy today. Whereas many men and women in uniform have given their lives while serving in the armed services, whereas the 21st day of August, 2025 has been officially designated as the day of the city of Toul, Texas, will remember and recognize veterans who have received the Purple Heart Medal. Now, therefore, I, Mike Dumont, Mayor of the City of Toul, hereby proclaim the City of Toul, Texas, a Purple Heart City. In witness whereof, I have hereupon set my hand on this date, 21st of August, 2025. Thank you, gentlemen.
At this time, can I have every veteran in the building would come up and take a picture with the Purple Heart?
Yeah.
All the
We
veterans,
got Carla here.
please come up.
Go ahead, Daniel. Yeah, we would. It'd be great. Why don't you do it up here, and we'll get out of your way, and you take their pic. We'll be with you too. We'll get in the picture as well. We'll just do one big picture. That'll work. All right, we'll do it. We'll do it right here. That's right. There you go. We got it.
Tallest in the middle.
That's right. Super. Thank you, sir.
Let's try to even it up. So, looking good,
We
guys.
good? All right. You good? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Go right ahead. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He said this is not the auto pen.
Not the auto pen?
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. It's very
Good handshake.
Thank you. You guys, thank you, sir. It's a pleasure. All right. Say again? I don't know. Why did he get it or not? I don't know if he was a veteran or not. Okay, I didn't know. All right. I will get, yes, I will get one. Yeah. I'll get one. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Decline fix. Yes, sir. I got it. Okay. All right. Before we, just one more housekeeping chore here on item number 4, and that is just I'm just going to ask the council to declare if any council has conflicts of interest. I'm going to go start with Michael, please.
I have no conflicts of interest.
I have no conflicts of interest.
I have no statutory conflict.
No conflicts of interest.
No conflicts of interest.
Okay, very good. Okay. Citizens' comments is the next item. I have several people want to speak, and Leslie Anderson, you're on first. Do you want to speak now? Okay, and I have well, Ben's already spoke. Cynthia, is she here? Did she? And Went, is it Went? I can't read there. Jerome? Okay. Jerome and Cynthia. How about Diane Carroll? You want to speak on? You want to speak on? I don't want to speak on 1A, but 1B. You want to speak on 1A and 1B? No, just 1B. Just 1B. Okay, got it. Kathy, you want to speak now? Or you want to go ahead and speak now, 1B? All right, you please go right ahead, Diane. That'd be fan. You bet. Welcome.
Well, I had a piece of paper here. I'm sorry. Well, let me find my piece of paper. I'm sorry about this, guys. I had it out. I'm just a little nervous. Okay. I'm ready.
There we go.
Okay, I'm here for,
Could you state your name and
oh, I'm sorry,
address?
Diane Carroll, 1026 Rim of the World, Tool, Texas. Here I have a contract between the city and the city administrator. In this contract, it states in section 2.2, the duties of the administrator shall faithfully perform the duties described in this section 2.2 as set forth in the city ordinances and as may be lawfully assigned by the council in accordance with the pursuit to all applicable laws and authorities and each of the following duties to the full extent not prohibited by or in material conflict with any existing provisions of the city ordinances, applicable laws, and authorities. In A, it says the administrator has A, direct, assign, reassign, and evaluate all of the employees of the city of Tool. Organize, reorganize, and arrange the staff of the city. Develop and establish internal regulations, rules, and procedures which he deems necessary for the efficient and effective operation of the city. To accept all resignations of the city employees of Tool except for the police officers. This is my concern here. Optics seem to indicate that when council members or the mayor disagree with the city administration's decision, that they can override that decision and take it upon themselves to do his duties as stated in the contract. Julius has always been respectful, informative, and knowledgeable of procedures. Anytime this council has directed a question to Julius, he has always spoken up. If he doesn't know the answer, he always gets back to you. It has been stated by one of the members of this council that he believes it has become a hostile and toxic workplace for the city employees of Tool. However, there has not been not one complaint brought up against Julius. So what I ask of this committee today is to back up their employee and stick to the contract that you agreed upon and signed with this employee. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy, you were next on the list. Would you like to speak now? You asked for about 7A and B.
Kathy Donahue, 208 Tanglewood Drive, Tool, Texas. This is the second time you've tried to embarrass Vera Bennett, both times during her election years. LaCosta Davis has gone after her twice. He has been employed part-time by Figueroa, last time while working for the city. He's still now employed by Figueroa. This is definitely a strategic political move that should not be tolerated. Your administrator tried to take charge of this time. It appears that he is damned if he does or if he doesn't do his job. Lessons should have been learned when you lost your last police chief over the same tactics. How many times do we have to see this during an election? You know, life is strange. You arrive with nothing, and you spend your life chasing everything, and you still leave with nothing. Make sure your soul gains more than your hands.
Georgia Owen, you also want to speak on issue 7A and 7B?
My name is Georgia Owen, and I'm here just to, I don't know if you call the word retaliate or what, but in the latest talk that you just heard was not the full story. You do not know the full story. LaCosta was in San Antonio in a school taking classes to get better at her job. And while she was gone, a person on the council who has flung things at her for 2 years and never has proved it because it's not true, went again to Julius and bent his ear. They've accused her of putting permits in that were not legitimate, not put in at the correct time, not this, not that. So during the time that she was in San Antonio, Julius was going to go in the computer and find it, and he couldn't find it. So he assumed she didn't do it. When she got back and was in his office, she said, Julius, come to my office, let me open my computer, I will show you where they are. They are all there. No, he wouldn't even look because he didn't want to be proven wrong. So I'm here to tell you there's more to the story. Thank you.
Thank you. Marcia, you also want to speak on 7A and B? Marcia, go forth.
My name is Marcia Goforth, 1933 Island Circle, B202, Tool. This is election year, of course, and of course it's time to trash Vera. It happens every election time, and it's not fair to her. She has done nothing wrong. LaCosta has been on her ever since for 2 years now, and Alan started it. Alan Anderson started it when he left our condo association owing thousands of dollars in dues. And then he passed it on to LaCosta, and they have harassed us for the last 2 years. I have never received any request for a permit or anything, even though I am on the deed to our property. It has all been directed to Vera. I have never received anything. And as far as that goes, Julius has started out slow, but he has really gained momentum here. He is really trying to do his job now, and he's doing a great job of it. And I admire him for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. Jackie Moses. Oh, you are, Jackie. I just didn't see it. You want to speak on 7A?
Boy, this is the most fun here. Jackie Moses, 118 Woodcrest Drive. I'm here to talk about agenda item 7A, that ironically is an executive session item that we citizens are not usually privy to. It's ironic since details of these items were put on, of this item was put on the City of Tool Council message board on August 11th by Council Member Sayer and Figueroa, inappropriately, in my opinion. State Bill 1297 is an act relating to written electronic communications between members of a governmental body, Section 551.006. Written electronic communication accessible to public states a communication or exchange of information between members of a governmental body about public business or public policy over which the governmental body has supervision or control, not HR issues or political statements. Despite this, Mr. Sayer publicly brings up an HR complaint filed by Building and Code official LaCosta Davis against Councilmember Bennett, and LaCosta Davis's suspension, ultimately firing, that he states the council hasn't taken formal action on. It is my understanding that HR matters relating to non-contracted city staff fall under the responsibility of the city administrator, not the council. Mr. Sayer also states that based on the timing and substance of these actions, it has the optics to benefit Ms. Bennett. Councilmember Figueroa posted in agreement, shifting blame toward the city administrator. But here's my question. How exactly does this benefit Ms. Bennett? I made public information requests in March, May, and last week for all documentation pertaining to property of all council members and the mayor over the past 3 years. What I got back tells a different story regarding some properties. This stack shows glaring inconsistencies, missing property surveys, absent site plans, lack of details regarding the scope of work, incomplete applications, over half of which were filled out by LaCosta Davis herself, without the required signatures from property or business owner. Many were issued the same day they were submitted. Some most recently issued and found to be inadequate by the city engineer and Bureau Veritas. Quite different to what typical citizens would have been asked to provide. My research on this matter has not been conducted in a vacuum. During this process, I have consulted numerous times with the city administrator and council members. I believe many city ordinances have been violated because the city's permitting process and regulations were not properly followed. It's all in black and white, not gray. I have a little bit more. May I finish?
Well, you got about 30 seconds. We just.
Yep. In Mr. Sayer's words, it has the optics that these actions could serve to benefit a council member. The appearance of retaliation in a pending HR matter undermines public trust and places the city in a situation of legal consequences and liability. It is our responsibility to make sure that we show fairness, transparency, and proper due process. We as a city and city council have to do better and be better for the citizens. Thank you.
Alicia Keith, you want to speak? You want to 7B? Alan's going to 15.
Hello everyone, my name is Alicia Keith. For those of y'all I haven't met, I am the city clerk here at the City of Tool. Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, and the citizens of Tool. As a dedicated member of the City of Tool staff, I stand before you to express my unequivocal support for not only our city administrator, but also the entire team of public servants who keep the city running day in and day out. We often hear the calls for transparency, accountability, and for government that works. And let me tell you, that's exactly what this administrator has been trying to deliver. And they've done so with the full support of the professional staff who serves this city. What we're witnessing tonight is more than just a disagreement. It's a pattern of official oppression carried out through undue pressure and behind-the-scenes tactics aimed at undermining the leadership of a person who has consistently acted with professionalism, transparency, and a deep commitment to this city's well-being. When certain council members choose to target and isolate a leader who is simply doing their job, who is following policy, upholding ethics, and refusing to play into the politics, the damage doesn't stop at one person. It spreads. It demoralizes the staff, and it undermines trust, and it creates a culture of fear and instability in a place that should be built on cooperation and respect. So tonight, I want the record to be clear. I support our city administrator, and I support the staff who work every day under these increasingly hostile conditions caused by certain members of this council. We see what's happening, and we will not stand quietly while political power plays dismantle the professionalism that our city government depends on. To Julius Kizzy and my colleagues, thank you. Thank you for holding the line, for staying focused on service over self-interest, and for continuing to show up and do the work that many take for granted. And to those of y'all that are creating the division, enough is enough. Let's get back to putting the city, the staff, and the people first. Thank you.
Stacy, you've asked to speak on 7B as well.
Hi, I'm Stacy, and I am the court clerk for the city. Good evening. I stand before you tonight not as a city employee, but as someone who has invested my time, my energy, my heart in serving this community. I believe deeply in fairness, respect, and accountability. I pride myself on working on my work and contributing to the success of this community. It's never easy to speak about difficult issues, but I feel like I have a duty to raise concerns that affect the integrity of the city government and the trust in its employees. Unfortunately, I must say, in recent times, I have felt deeply let down. When I joined this team, I believed that we shared a common goal, that our work would be supported, that our voices would matter, and that our leadership would stand with us through challenges. But I have witnessed decisions and behaviors that have made it clear that the decisions of the employees are not always valued or respected. Some of what I've witnessed and experienced, in my view, falls under the definition of Texas Penal Code 39.03, official oppression. Official oppression occurs when someone in a position of public authority misuses that position and to mistreat, threaten, or intimidate others, whether it's employees, residents, or anyone under that authority. Public office is a privilege. It is not a weapon. When authority is used to punish rather than protect, to silence rather than listen, or to control rather than serve, it erodes the foundation of our city that we should be standing on. We, the employees of the city, keep it running day to day. We show up early, we work late, we respond to emergencies and city functions, even when it means missing times with our own families. We do this with professionalism, even when resources are limited and often at the expense of our own well-being. We expect and are entitled to an environment free of harassment, retaliation, or abuse of power in a hostile work environment. I want to make it clear, I'm not here to attack anyone personally. I am here to stand up for the values we claim to represent: transparency, respect, and the fair use of authority. The council has the responsibility to ensure the leadership and the employees alike are held to the same standard. That is why I also want to express my strong support for our administrator. In the time here, I have seen his dedication, his professionalism, and a steadfast of leadership. He is not perfect. None of us are. But leadership is not about making mistakes. It's about owning them. It's about learning from them, and it's about moving forward. Our administrator listens, he adjusts, and he works tirelessly to make Tool better. Removing him now would disrupt the process, hurt morale, and send the wrong message. Am I allowed to finish?
Got a couple-
That
little
dedication
second.
and effective leadership is that the wrong message, that dedication and effective leadership is not valued here. I am proud to serve this city, but I am also believe that it is time that we change how we treat and support the people who serve it. We cannot allow oppression to exist in leadership, but we must protect those who lead with identity and commitment. Thank you.
Heath, you signed up to speak? Okay. Kimberly, you're up next. You speak on 7B.
Hello. For those who do not know me, my name is Kimberly Price, and I'm the City Secretary here in Toole. On December 19th, 2022, I was appointed to this position. I took an oath that day that stated the following. I, Kimberly Price, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of City Secretary for the City of Toole, of the State of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God. Taking that oath was one of the most important things I've done in my life. To me, it was promising myself to not only uphold laws rooted in truth and fact, but to always do the right thing, even if it was the hard thing. This is why I have my oath of office hanging on the wall in front of my desk at City Hall, so it's a constant reminder of why I'm here. I firmly believe that if you see a problem or issue and you say nothing, you are just as bad, if not worse, than the problem at hand. Over the past few weeks, I have personally witnessed and have been informed by several members of city staff of countless attempts of intimidation, official oppression, and defamation of character towards them from several members of the governing body who sat before us today. During my career as City Secretary for the City of Toole, I too have faced very similar issues regarding attempts of intimidation and official oppression. Most people don't know that. Experiencing, witnessing, and being informed of issues of wrongdoing is not something that I take lightly, and I will not sit quietly if wrongdoing is taking place. It's not who I am, and it's definitely not how my mother raised me to be. I know I keep mentioning the oath of office, but that is because not only did I take that oath, but everyone in front of me also took that oath, and I administered it to every single person. Does intimidation, official oppression, and defamation of character fall in line with the oath of, will to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God? I don't think so, but that's just my opinion. I know by presenting this speech today will now cause a greater target to be placed on my back, and my career with the City of Toole will be placed in greater jeopardy. However, I'm standing up for the right thing, and that will always mean more to me than a career. My ethics and morals are not something I will ever consider changing, as these very morals and ethics put me in the position as City Secretary. Thank you.
Leslie, you want to speak? You want to speak? You're still holding out? Okay, fine. And I know, Alan Terry, you're speaking on agenda number 15 when we get to it. So, yeah, when we get to number 15. Okay. Having said that, I'm going at, it's 6:45, Kimberly, we're going to executive session. Convene an executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Chapter 551, Section 7A is Section 551-07 for municipal officer to discuss and complain against municipal officer, council member Vera Bennett, and possible discipline. Yours, you want to go ahead. You want to say something, Vera?
Yes, I have a statutory right to have that done in public, and I'm invoking that right at this time. I have nothing to hide, and transparency is very important to me, so we're not going to do this behind closed doors.
Thank you. You beat me to the punch for clarifying that. We'll do it. Open. We're going to be open in open session.
Mayor, Council, on
June 27th, 2025, building official Acosta Davis gave me a letter in regards to. Oh, sorry. Gave me a letter in regards to a sense of harassment she faced from Ms. Vera Bennett, Councilmember Vera Bennett, excuse me. And I'm actually pulling up the email right now, so give me 1 second so I can read it for the record. To Mr. Julius Kizzy, City Administrator, City of Tool, Texas, date June 27, 2025. Dear Mr. Kizzy, I'm writing to formally express my grave concern regarding the ongoing harassment I have endured over the past 2 years from Councilmember Vera Bennett. Her persistent and targeted behavior has created a hostile work environment and has had a significant negative impact on my mental well-being, my ability to effectively perform my job duties, and my overall sense of security in the workplace. As a committed public servant and single mother who has worked diligently to build a meaningful career, it has been extremely distressing to work under the constant fear of retaliation, termination, or worse. Councilmember Bennett has made repeated efforts to undermine my position, including issuing a burdensome number of public information requests and engaging in behavior that clearly exceeds the scope of her official duties. Her actions have led me to question my professional stability and have, at times, made me consider resigning from the position I have worked so hard to attain. I have reached an emotional and psychological breaking point. I can no longer tolerate the constant anxiety, sleepless nights, and undue stress caused by her continued harassment. If this conduct is allowed to persist, I will be left with no choice but to seek legal relief for the damage being inflicted upon me. I respectfully urge the city to take this matter seriously and take swift, decisive action to investigate and address this behavior. It is imperative that the city protect its employees from workplace intimidation and ensure a professional and respectful environment for all. Councilmember Bennett's manipulative tactics, presenting herself as a victim while engaging in predatory conduct, must no longer go unchecked. Sincerely, LaCosta Davis, Department Head, Code Enforcement, City of Tool. In the aftermath of this letter to me, the employee and I had a discussion in her office on this day, earlier that day, and I read the letter before she sent it to me, and I asked her if she could stand behind everything she said in the letter, in which she said, yes, I can. And I asked her again, I said, can you stand by every single word you put in this letter? And she said, yes, I can. And I said, okay, go ahead and send it to me. After she sent it to me, which would have been I believe a Friday. Later that afternoon, I called Mr. Dumont and Mr. Flatmark. I told them about the letter, and I said I would like to schedule a meeting with them two and also Ms. Vera Bennett in regards to to this letter. After I caught them up on what the letter entailed, they asked me various questions regarding what happened, where is it coming from, etc. I had said that I was unsure. However, I will ask the employee. But on that phone call, I said I'll set a time and date for Monday. I went back to the employee, and I said, hey, where is this kind of coming from? The employee relayed back to me, it's just been a constant harassment that Councilmember Vera has done to her, and it was highlighted by a public information request. I said, okay. I took that information, and I went to my email, and I sent an email to Mr. Flatmark, Mrs. Vera, and Mr. Dumont, in which I asked them for a meeting on that subsequent Monday. I think it was at 10 a.m. We all met that Monday at 10 a.m., and we sat Ms. Vera down, and I opened the discussion and had two instances that I wanted to bring up. The first instance was the conversation that I was a part of that Wednesday prior, Thursday, and then Friday. So Ms. Vera had come into City Hall on that Wednesday around maybe 4:15 or so and asked for a flat work permit over at the condos, which is 1933 Island Circle, I believe. When she asked for that permit, I said, you have to get with Alicia or LaCosta, whoever could help you, because I couldn't help you do this permit. She said, okay. She walked to Alicia. Alicia started to help her. Alicia, to my understanding, asked for a site plan in regards to the flat work that's to be done. At that point, Ms. Vera supplied a site plan that showed some structures and it showed some of the work. After that, I walked off myself, and I think I went outside to get on the phone or something else like that. And I came back inside. The building official, Alicia, and Ms. Vera were all having a conversation, I'm assuming, about the permit. That conversation ended. Ms. Vera did not get her permit that day, and the day was kind of over at that point. Ms. Vera asked me to come to my office. I said, okay, no problem. We went to my office. Ms. Vera sat down, and she said, how long does it usually take to get a flat work permit? And I said, Ms. Vera, I'm unsure. I don't really deal with permits like that. I just don't. And I said, but what did Alicia tell you? Alicia told Ms. Vera about 2 or 3 days. Ms. Vera asked, oh, okay. And I said, although, Ms. Vera, you have gotten permits for the park sooner than that. So with that being said, I don't know what to really tell you right now, but otherwise, that's really, if Alicia said that's the standard, then hey, that's what it is. If we can get it sooner, no problem. I took that recollection of that conversation all the way to that Monday conversation in which all 4 of us were sitting down, and I put that conversation back to Ms. Vera, and I said, Ms. Vera, what happened in the conversation at that point, and from when me and you talked, that there's an issue? Did something happen? Ms. Vera said, to my knowledge, no. I didn't have any issue with anything. I didn't have an issue with the permit. I didn't have an issue with the timing. I didn't have any issue. I said, okay. So why did you fill out a public information request? And Ms. Vera said, she looked at me very confused, and she told all 3 of us we cannot ask her that. Again, we all did ask you again, Ms. Vera, so why did you put in the public information request? Ms. Vera said, be careful, you cannot ask me that. And we asked why, and she supplied us back chapter 552 of the Local Government Code, which is more so the Public Information Act. In the Public Information Act, it says that you may not ask a requester why they put a request in, the reason they're using the request, or any intricate details besides how they would like to receive their information, and a cost estimate whenever the time comes to be. So at that point in time, myself personally, I refrained from asking Ms. Vera any more questions regarding the request, and I moved on to the next subject, and I said, Ms. Vera, regarding this letter, has there been anything that's happened in the last week that would lead to this letter? Ms. Vera said, I saw her Wednesday, I saw her Thursday morning, and that was it. And I said, okay, Ms. Vera, did something happen on that Wednesday and Thursday that I should know about? Ms. Vera said, to my knowledge, no. And then I said, are you sure? And she said, I'm not answering that. I said, okay. Mr. Flatmark made the remark that said, Ms. Vera, we're just trying to get to the bottom of it. Mr. Dumont made similar comments. I made similar comments to Ms. Vera and said, Ms. Vera, the reason we're here is not to really ask about the request. We're really trying to get to the bottom of why this letter was presented to us. Ms. Vera, in her defense of that notion, had said that she did not believe she did anything wrong, and she submitted a public information request, which you cannot ask for by law or about, or in regards to, or the information is about, which is a law. And in the conversation you guys had on a Thursday morning in regards to that flat work permit, Ms. Vera did not disclose any of that information. Okay, no problem. Then this subsequent conversation in that one, after that kind of settled out, we talked about the permitting process overall. Ms. Vera, Mr. Flatmark, and Mr. Dumont talked to me specifically about issues with paper permitting, turnaround times, consistency, etc. All 3 talked about an ease of a permitting process and how to make it smoother for residents who are technologically savvy, maybe at not at a astute reading level, etc. Just being more customer friendly. In that conversation, we all pretty much entertained it and had a pretty robust conversation for about 30 minutes. After that conversation ended, I reiterated to Ms. Vera, in front of Mr. Flatmark and Mr. Dumont, Ms. Vera, I just want you to know that today was about information gathering, and I really wanted to know if something had happened to preface this letter. Ms. Vera said, okay, I haven't done anything wrong. No problem. After that conversation, excuse me, I went back to the employee and I said she gave me nothing. There's really nothing there that she had given me. So what has happened with you specifically? And we were standing at her doorway. The employee told me, well, it was a request because she's questioning my credentials, in which I said, okay, I can see that. And secondly, she said the time that she called Bureau Veritas for inspections over at 705 Royal Way that undermined my position. I said, okay, I can understand that. And then she said some other comments, and I said, okay, well, if there's anything else, let me know. She said, okay. And I said, I'll circle back around with you in a couple of days. I'll get back with you. About a week and a half passed, and I went back to her in passing, not as a sit down, in passing, and I asked her, I said, hey, is there anything more we want to talk about with the Vera situation? She said she'll get back to me. I said, okay, no problem. In the weeks follow up after that, several council members have come to me and expressed that there was no end to this harassment letter that the building official supplied to me.
Excuse me, Julius, 1 second.
Yes, sir.
You've mentioned this public information request. Could you please read that?
Yes, I can read it. Absolutely.
'Cause, I mean, I think everyone's wondering what happened there.
On June 26, 2025, Vera Bennett, address 1933 Island Circle, A108, Tool, Texas, 75143. Phone number, not going to say. Email, not going to say. Requested information be as detailed as possible. A copy of the survey for the last 5 flat work permits issued by the City of Tool. A copy of the ordinance or rules that outline the requirements for a permit for flat work. A copy of the last 3 permit surveys for Raymond's Concrete. A copy of the last 3 permits for Fig's Backyard, including surveys and all inspections. A copy of the final inspection for the last 5 homes built in Tool, Texas. A copy of all the building officials' testing and credentials. Okay. In the aftermath of this, and like I said, in the subsequent weeks, several council members have come to me and said, hey, is there a resolution to this harassment letter that was provided by the building official? And I explained to them that based on the 2 things I received, I said that it's unsubstantiated. I believe 2 things. 1, a public information request cannot be questioned, nor can it be contested in regards to Section 552 of the Government Code. Secondly, it is a part of everybody's job in the City of Tool to fulfill a public information request. So to deem that as harassment, in my opinion, would be misplaced. Secondly, the notion that Ms. Vera was harassing and undermining LaCosta's position by calling Bureau Veritas, the city's third-party engineer, in regards to inspections at 705 Royal Way was something that I told Ms. Vera before. I did not think that was a smart move to do. I'll be very open and say that. And I told her this on 2, maybe 3 occasions. I said, I would not have done that. However, the item was coming before the council agenda in the May meeting. And Ms. Vera informed me that when she called them, she asked if there were inspections done.
It wasn't.
She did
it wasn't
not
becoming.
say,
That's not true.
She did not say
At that point, it wasn't going before the council.
He has the floor.
Okay, wait.
She did not say, in my-
Greg, let Julius finish. Go ahead.
In-
Then you can speak.
In my conversation with Ms. Vera in regards to that request, Ms. Vera supplied back to me that she called in regards to inspections. She did not recall in regards to sending out the building inspector to go see the property. Okay. To date, any other factual evidence that supports this claim from the building official has not been given to me. And in subsequent conversations that I've had with council members who have brought this to my attention, I have asked them, because they have had conversations with the building official in regards to what factual substantive information that they have supplied to, or that that person has supplied to them, I've still been given nothing. So to date, it is unsubstantiated by those two claims. And that is why we're here today. Thank you.
You want to comment, Greg? Or you
Well,
want
no,
to comment?
so I just want to correct a couple things. At that point, there was nothing coming before council at that point. The issue was I didn't apply for the proper variance for a roof that went 15 feet from the property line over a deck, and there was no conclusion at that point. And Bureau Veritas was called to shut down the work, shut down whatever business was there at the time. And the inspector, I was on site when LaCosta was there, and the inspector called her and said he was on his way to basically, under direction of Councilwoman Verret, to shut us down, to shut down the project, to stop work. And LaCosta said, well, I didn't order that work. Why are you coming? I'm the only one in code enforcement that could ask for that to be done. And he said, well, Vera Bennett, told me to come out here and do this. So she told him at that time, that's not necessary. You don't need to come. So he did not come. So there was nothing going on at that point other than there was permits, there's lots of permits, and that's all that was done at that time. So that's not correct. And as far as you say you haven't, I think you let LaCosta give her statement, but I don't think you actually interviewed her or took written statements or anything from anybody in relation to her complaint. And if you read her letter, it's a lot about how she feels and her perception for 2 years. It's not just about those two incidences. Her letter speaks about every detail over the past 2 years of how she feels. So that letter isn't just about two incidences. And I don't think you did a proper investigation or a proper investigation with her, and that's why we're here today. And none of this, for the record, is political. It just happens to, this letter was in June, has nothing, the election hadn't even started. Vera hadn't announced for mayor. I hadn't announced for any position. And so this is not a political, this is an HR issue, and to say it's political or anything other than just an HR issue that needed to be dealt with by a city it was a serious complaint by an employee, a department head, and I don't think it was taken seriously. I don't think there was any action followed through. So, what action was taken with the council or going to the council or asking the council to discuss this and come up with a resolution after LaCosta's letter before her termination?
Is that a question?
Yeah, what happened?
So the coming to council with a letter or an action in regards to Ms. Vera would have to have some substantiated evidence. And to date, I haven't had any.
You didn't really ask for it, but.
He asked for it 3 times.
Well, Ms. LaCosta is here tonight. Why don't we hear her version?
Absolutely, yeah.
Why don't we hear her version?
Ms. Vera, did you have anything to contribute before LaCosta speak? Okay, absolutely.
Dear Mayor and City Council members, my name is LaCosta Davis. I have served the City of Toole for nearly 3 years as the department head of code enforcement with dedication, professionalism, and pride. Today I come before you not out of anger, but out of necessity. For the past 2 years, I have been subjected to hostile work environment and targeted harassment by Council Member Vera Bennett. This has gone far beyond ordinary disagreements or oversights. It has been persistent, calculated, and deeply harmful. I have lived under the constant threat of being fired, humiliated, undermined, and even criminalized, all while performing my duties in service to the residents of Toole. What began as tension has become into a clear campaign of intimidation and bullying. It has affected my mental health, my job performance, and my ability to feel safe at work. Councilmember Bennett has misused her authority in the following ways: publicly challenging my integrity in council meetings, burdening my office with excessive invasive public information requests, directly contacting Bureau Veritas to influence actions on matters under my enforcement jurisdiction, repeatedly pursuing city leadership to suspend or terminate me without valid cause or due process. This is not governance, this is harassment. Moreover, her behavior has not been limited to me alone. I have witnessed and others have shared with me that Councilmember Bennett has targeted fellow city staff, contractors, vendors, and even members of this council. This represents a pattern of abuse of power and a culture of intimidation that has gone unchecked for far too long. I remained silent for as long as I could. I tried to endure. I followed appropriate channels and voiced my concerns with professionalism and discretion. But rather than being protected, I was forced by city administrator to either accept termination or resignation, only to later be told I was placed on suspension with pay. My complaint was not only ignored, it became the basis for retaliation. I was removed from my position because of speaking out. As a single mother who has fought to build a career in public service, this experience has inflicted profound emotional distress. I have felt isolated, afraid, and betrayed by the very institution I served with pride. I am left with no option but to speak publicly on the record and ask for justice. Here is what I respectfully ask this council to do. Reinstate me to my position, restore a safe, respectful, and non-toxic work environment free from retaliation, fear, or political vendettas. Ensure all department heads are treated equally, held to the same standards, and offered the same opportunity for correction, support, and professional growth. Acknowledge and formally address the behavior of Councilmember Vera Bennett for what it is, an abuse of power that has endangered the integrity of the city's leadership and the welfare of its employees. This is your opportunity to lead, to show the citizens and employees of Toole that this city will no longer tolerate abuse of authority or culture of silence. The people who serve this city deserve dignity, protection, and fairness. Under legal advisement from my attorney, I will not be taking questions following this statement. Everything I have shared is truthful, heartfelt, and supported by documented records and patterns of behavior. I respectfully urge this council to act decisively and with integrity. Sincerely, LaCosta Davis.
Thank you, Councilman.
Okay, thank you.
Have you received any of that documentation that she's talking about?
She
That
ran
you
through
asked for?
She ran through 6 items. The Bureau Veritas thing, I'm already acknowledging that.
Mhm.
The public information request, I'm acknowledging that. She mentioned a burdensome number of public information requests. I think Ms. Vera has submitted. Go ahead, Kimberly. I'm unsure of the number of requests that Ms. Vera Bennett has placed.
So I emailed Vera Bennett previously.
Okay.
At the time I emailed her, I said that she had submitted 2 public information requests.
Okay.
But I called her after that and let her know it was actually 3
Over the course of how long?
since she's been in office.
Okay, so 2 years. So the burdensome number of requests is 3 in 2 years. Besides that, no documentation of a constant fear of retaliation or constant harassment that Ms. Vera's done. So, there's that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, I want to express that this is embarrassing to our city. this should have been handled, you know, internally rather than bringing it before the council. Julius, did you put this on the docket? Who requested this to be on
No,
the?
ma'am, I did
Who
not.
did?
Mr. Gregg and Mr. Duma emailed Kimberly and
Okay,
I
thank you.
a couple weeks ago.
So I just want to say that when a council member posts something on the message board and accuses me of things, I have no recourse but to bring it out before the public. I mean, I was accused in the public, and my job now is to bring my defense out here to all of you, to the citizens, and show you that I have absolutely nothing to hide. Last year, at the August council meeting, I was brought up for censorship. The council failed to find that there was sufficient evidence. They did not censor me. And so here we are again. After that, I made a concerted effort to be as nice as I could to the people at City Hall. I spoke to them. I've done everything nice. She talked about burdensome public information request. I sent one last year at the time the council tried to censor me, asking for the book on council procedures that they were using against me, and found out it wasn't adopted. I did a public information request for that. I filed one as a citizen requesting information about the building department process. I'm the president of the HOA for the Anchorage condos. I filed it online. I paid money for it, and I filed it as a citizen. Now, if that's the basis of an HR complaint, then they would file one every time a citizen filed a public information request. Now, I know some people are going to say that you're a citizen 24/7, but the law says that a council gets anything they need free when they're acting in their official capacity. So when I did a public information request, I was not acting in my official capacity, but rather as the president of the Anchorage Homeowners Association. What was the other one? Was from my lawyer, is that correct? Okay, so there was another one that was sent from my lawyer. That's all I've asked for in the last 2 years on council. But if I need something, I'm not going to be afraid to ask for it, because I took an oath of office to uphold my position. And also, I said that I would try my best to make sure things were done right in this city, and I continue to do that. The HR complaint came directly after I filed a public information request. To ask for that and to cite numerous things in the HR complaint is pure retaliation against me. It's retaliation for me filing a public information request. I contacted the Attorney General's office. He said that's retaliation. Contact the DA's office. And I said, oh, okay. I believe on 6/30/25, I was called in the office to address the complaint. I was asked repeatedly why I filed it. And finally, I told them that it was an absolute right as a citizen to assure transparency. It's codified in the statutes that I have an absolute right to ask that. And I shouldn't have to be answering an HR complaint of that. During that meeting, I asked them, what evidence do you have? They couldn't come up with anything. They said, Julius later told me about the call to Bureau Veritas. And unless you were a party to that conversation, Greg, I don't think you know what was said. I called them because there was a variance that was going to come before the council, and asked them about 10-foot power lines and stuff, if there was any problems out there. And I said, he told him no. And then he said something about covering up walls without electrical inspection. And I told him, I says, well, La Costa is going to go issue a stop work permit he said, well, I can do that too. I never told the man to do anything. So whatever he said was wrong. I want to read you under 552 of the 552.222 of the local government code says the officer for public information and the officer's agent, which includes department heads, may not make an inquiry of the requester except to establish proper identification. It also says that uniform treatment of requests for information. The officer for public information or the officer's agent shall treat all requests for information uniformly without regard to position or occupation of the requester, the person on whom behalf the request is made, or the status of the individual as a member of the media. Also talks about, well, I'll get to that in a minute. So during the meeting, the mayor said, well, you clearly did something to her. What'd you do? And I said, well, Mike, if it's clear, you tell me what I did. He didn't know. He didn't know. So before I was brought in on an HR complaint, I think maybe a thorough investigation should have happened. I sent a formal complaint about that meeting, and I just want to let you know that to this day, the 3 people that have participated in that meeting have given me an apology, and I accept that apology. I didn't like the way I was talked to during that meeting, but anyway, it happened, and they've apologized. So now let's talk about the complaint. Like I said, over the last year, I have made a concerted effort to be nice to the staff members here. I mean, I was nice before, but I mean, I've just made it, gone out of my way. And I asked Julius, I said, Julius, over the last year, have you had one complaint against me? What was the answer, Julius?
No, ma'am.
Have you had any written complaints against me?
No, ma'am.
Has LaCosta made any written complaints
No, ma'am.
against me? I think fear of retaliation and getting an HR complaint inhibits me from doing my job. I mean, if every time I ask something about something, someone, am I going to get an HR complaint? That's kind of a scary thing. I have talked with some of the employees down here and ask them, say, hey, look, have you seen anything? Have I done anything? No. I haven't had anything. So I'm just going to, Stacy, have you had anything from me in the, Alicia? Kimberly? No, ma'am. Okay. I'm just can't believe that we're really here on this. And like I said, the accusation and the toxic work environment is uncalled for. And I'll touch on some of this during Jules' thing, and you're going to really hear some stuff about what's really going on. Like LaCosta was told to issue a stop work order, she didn't do it. I mean, there's just so many things. But I just don't know what evidence. I mean, LaCosta said a lot of things. I've made her feel bad. I've done. She's looking for justice, and she's got these complaints. But what did she tell you I did? Was there one thing that she said on this date? The only 2 things I hear is a public information request, which is nothing but retaliation. The other was me calling Bureau Veritas. If there's an item before the council, I always research it. Greg calls the people with the bond company to follow up. He calls the county. I mean, people. That is our job, is to get down to the bottom of things coming before the council. And if that's wrong, then it's wrong. I'll do it again because I research the issues. I take this job serious. And I intend to continue to research. I never call around and say, don't do that. I don't care what LaCosta told you, don't do that. I've never done anything like that. I've not done anything but to go out and offer to help her. And I can get to a lot of other things, but I don't think that's what we're here for. You have to have some evidence. You've got to have specific things, and they're just not there. Today, I got a letter from Julius. Hold on just a second. Let me find it here. It's called a written determination of facts, and let me read this to you. The letter to you is a follow-up from item request number 6, dated August 13th, 2025 via email. You request information, evidence supporting HR complaint that building official LaCosta Davis submitted on June the 27th, 2025. The building official sent me the written complaint on June 27, 2025, and asked her if she could stand behind each sentence. This is pretty much what he said a while ago. At the bottom of this letter, it says, I drew the conclusion that the HR complaint against Councilman Bennett was unsubstantiated as of this date. Julius, did you tell me one day that she said, let me think about it over the weekend, I'll get back to you? Do you remember her making that statement to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If she had valid evidence of an HR complaint, she wouldn't have to think about it over the weekend. She would have put it in there in the beginning. There was nothing but conclusory statements, but nothing in there. I mean, nothing. So I'm just asking the council to
So let me make some statements, if you don't
So
mind.
let's move on. Hang on, I'm not through.
Okay,
But,
go ahead
I
and
mean,
finish. Go ahead and finish, Vera.
yeah, let's move on. And if our city administrator, who we've been empowered to do his job, found nothing, I don't know why the council would find something. That I haven't heard anything from anybody to substantiate an HR complaint here today, and I don't think it should have ever been brought before the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Vera. So in her letter, she doesn't say anything about, she says in the first sentence, I've endured over the past 2 years. 2 years. Okay? So let's go back 2 years, or in that time frame, a year ago, when the first censorship happened. And the council stopped short, but a lot of things came out in that.
I'm going to
LaCosta Davis was LaCosta.
Hang on,
her
letter.
letter. Her letter says
Wait,
2
let him
years.
finish.
I
Let
get to
him
finish,
fin-
okay?
let him have the
So in
floor.
2
You
years,
can review.
what caused LaCosta first to begin her trauma was they were in a public meeting with contractors, probably 10 to 15 people, and LaCosta was trying to run the meeting, and from what eyewitnesses have told me,
That's hearsay.
it's not here. Well, I'm hearsay, whatever. This is not a legal court. This is us. Well, whatever.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you what
Good
people.
job.
I'm telling you what people
finish.
told me. Okay.
Unless
I'm
the
sure we can
complaint
get
was
signed
written up
affidavits.
after the
Anyway,
fact.
regardless of the situation, I'm going to finish what.
Excuse me, everyone. Let's just to have one meeting, just one meeting, please.
Yeah.
And let Greg speak, then Vera get her turn.
So
No problem.
in this, said I wasn't there, but I'm sure we can get affidavits to the fact. LaCosta asked Vera to be quiet or something to that effect, and touched her on the shoulder. Vera told her, "Don't you touch me," or whatever in the meeting, and then proceeded to go into Julia's office and have her fired or terminated or suspended for that. When Julius didn't take action, she filed criminal charges against LaCosta Davis to have her basically face trial for this. That prompted a lot of employees to be intimidated and write a letter to us about their fear of, not wanting to be in the same room, not wanting to be around. They don't know if they're next on any particular criminal charges being filed against them. So that's where this started and started kicking off for her. And if you look in some, you can try to judge whether or not that would mentally mess with you. And you tell me if you're a department head and a council member files criminal charges against you, okay? if that's not intimidating, if that's not threatening,